verse 7. For who makes you differ from another? And what do you have that you did not receive? Now, if you did indeed receive it, why do you boast as if you had not received it? Really, nobody can boast of their ability because the ability came from God. And that's the point that he's making. If I'm a good preacher, it's not because of something I did. God gave me that ability. If another fellow's a good song leader, it's not because of something he did. It's what God gave him the ability. And we keep going. We keep talking about that. Teacher, whatever your role in the church is, whatever ability you have, God gave it to you. And you see a little bit of that, and we're going to see it later in the book of Corinthians. But think about Romans chapter 12, where Paul goes into a brief discussion of the things God gave people the ability to do, picking up verse 3. For I say, through the grace given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith. For as we have many members in one body, but all the members do not have the same function, so we, being many, are one body in Christ, and individually members of one another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion to our faith. Or ministry, let us use it in our ministering. Or he who teaches in teaching, he who exhorts in exhortation, he who gives with liberality, he who leads with diligence, he who shows mercy with cheerfulness. One of the most interesting parts of that is God gives some people the ability to give. He doesn't say God gives some people the ability to make a lot of money, but in certain senses, isn't that really what he is saying? That he gives you the ability to make a lot of money so that you in turn can give well to help your brethren and to help maybe those outside the church as well. So these things I have, these things you have, they're not ours because we're particularly smarter and better than everybody else, but instead they're ours because God gave them to us. And that's Paul's point. So then he says, you are already full. You are already rich. You've reigned as kings without us. And indeed, I could wish you did reign, that we also might reign with you. A very interesting way to put it. You're already full. The word he's using there basically is it's like being full of food. You've had all you can eat. But here he's, of course, talking about a spiritual thing. He's not talking about physical. He's talking about the way they thought about themselves, not the reality. There's a little edge of maybe sarcasm here. Yeah, you're already full. You can almost hear Paul saying, you're already rich. You're already reigning as kings. But then Paul shows you he's being either sarcastic or ironic because he said, I wish you did reign, because if you were reigning, I'd reign with you. I'd join you, so to speak, because as he'll point out later, they're his children in the faith. So that's a part of what we're seeing there. So he goes ahead as he's talking about that, and he lets them know that they thought they were great, they thought they were special, but the reality is that their greatness, any part they had, came from God. It wasn't their own doing. They should quit bragging about themselves, I guess would be the way I would put it.